do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
It's time!
Welcome back to another episode of Software Explorations, Concepts and Overviews, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. Actually, this is not Concept and Overviews. Already messing up. It has been a very, very long week, and this is the beginning of the week. Like I said, it's been a crazy past 2 weeks, but here we are, and we are going to get it happening. Let's see. All right. So first and foremost, let me pull up our agenda. I am happy to have you all here today. We are going to be getting into some more of Terraform. And first, I want to say thank you to all of the newest subscribers to the channel. We are growing rapidly, and I really, really appreciate every last one of you who clicked the subscribe button and who clicked the notification bell so you can know when we go live and when we drop new videos.
I appreciate you.
Shout out to all of you. And I appreciate the Patreon members as well. All of you who sign up, I highly appreciate you. And I'm just continuing to look to add more and more value to your lives, to help you in your tech journey, all of that good stuff. So I
appreciate you.
I sure do. All right. And if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, join the Tech Coach Ralph team, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live, like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon to see the type of content that I'm putting in there. It's a little different than what I put on YouTube. It's very specific. And I also take requests as well. So if any of my Patreon members have a particular question or they would like a particular topic covered, that will get done very, very quickly. And, just reach out to me. You have direct access to me there. So I'm, looking forward to talking to you inside of the Patreon. All right. So let's get into our live show schedule. So our newest show. So we are going to be going into the third week of our coffee and kata, where we typically review a couple of news articles, and then we do some coding challenge so that we can, keep our minds stimulated, keep our engineering, QA, design juices flowing, So that is what we do early in the morning, right? Before we actually get to work, we do pre-work. So that is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. Eastern time. So if you are awake, maybe you're at the gym, maybe you're on your way to work, whatever the case may be, tune in and let's chat. And you can see how, the different ways that you can practice, the different ways that you can practice so you can continue to get better, continuous improvement. That is the goal, getting 1% better every single day. And even if you don't get 1% better, try 0.5%, right? Try 0.1%. Just try something. Get a little bit better and keep pushing forward every single day. And you will see significant progress and growth in your life. All right. So that's Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 7:15 a.m. Eastern time. Coffee and kata. Join us there if you're up. And then we have our Sunday afternoon shows like we have today, software explorations. We are currently trekking through Terraform, and we are going to get into some good stuff in the next coming weeks. And we are going to be looking at AWS and using Terraform to configure AWS in particular. I know we've been doing that the past few weeks, but this is going to get really focused on all the aspects of AWS, and it's going to be a lot of these things are going to be new to me. I've heard of them, but I haven't really dived into them. So we're going to dive into them using Terraform. So imagine that, right? So Sunday afternoons, software explorations. Tuesday nights we have Q&A session. We had an amazing Q&A this past Tuesday night. Did I say Thursday? I'm so out of it, right? Tuesday nights we have Q&A sessions. We had an amazing Q&A session with our good friend Socks about cybersecurity, and he was answering all tons of questions. And we're going to do that monthly. We're going to have our regular Q&A session this coming Tuesday, and you have the ability to call in, ask me a question live, and we can talk. You don't have to be on camera, but you can talk to me, and I can answer your questions. And I'm gonna continue the same format, finding questions across the web and answering those for you, because sometimes you might have questions that you don't even know. So I'm going to do my best to continue to answer your questions and add value. And then we have Thursday nights. We have more software explorations. This past Thursday, that was a crazy night. We were doing a catch the flag, like through Hacker 101, learning about that. That was my first time doing catch the flag officially, but I think a lot of times in QA, we still do this catch the flag, where we're trying to find bugs and we're trying to see what's going on. But in like this challenge, it was a little different. So, we struggled through that. But I do appreciate Socks coming up and helping me, and he helped me find a lot of these flags. We found 3, I think. 3? Yeah, I think it was 3. And he helped me tremendously finding them. I tell you, no respect. All right, let's close down all of these things because I don't need people calling me while I'm on a live stream. All right, I'm just getting everything closed. All right, anything? Get that one closed too. All right, so got that taken care of. So anyways, let me see, any other software? Yeah, let's close down some more software so we can have a good stream with no interruptions. All right. So let me almost missed this. Let me put this up, right? So here we go. Cool. All right. So like I was saying, this past Thursday, we had an amazing stream. Socks came up there. He helped me out. And, we found a couple of flags. That was like super new to me. And it was an amazing experience. I'm going to continue. I'll probably try to incorporate some of those challenges in the morning, part of our coffee and kata. And then we have, our, part of the Thursday night, like towards the end, then we had Don come up as well, and it was an amazing conversation. I really had to go, so I had to cut it short. But here's what we're gonna do: we are going to make that happen again. We're gonna have a panel where we just, it's gonna be, just a little tech talk, kind of like, barbershop for nerds, to put it in another way, right? That barbershop talk, but the nerdy edition. It's talking about different things in cybersecurity, about tech, and interact with us in the chat, pick our minds, all that good stuff. So I definitely look forward to that. So, and I'm figuring out when we're going to do that, but I will keep you posted, and trust me, you will definitely want to tune into that, because just for that, like from that 10-minute conversation that Socks and Don were having, and I was like, a fly on the wall. It was amazing, and I really want to hear more about that. All right. So let's see where we're at. All right. So now let's get into our pre-recorded content. Well, before we get into the pre-recorded content, let me just give you one more time, real quick. So the live show schedule: Coffee and Kata, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. Sunday afternoons, software explorations at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Tuesday nights, Q&A session at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and Thursday nights, more software explorations at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so tune in for that. Now let's get into our pre-recorded content. We have Mondays, Candid Conversations. It's going to be another good one tomorrow. It's going to be asking you a question: how hard are you working? All right. So get ready for that conversation. Interact with me in the chat, in the comments, whatever the case may be, because I really want to know, because that'll help me find out how I can add more value into your life. All right. Then we have Wednesdays, software explorations, concepts and overviews, which is not today. That is on Wednesdays, pre-recorded content, right? And so this past Wednesday, we spoke about the identity and access management engineer role. This coming Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the site reliability engineer role, right? And we're going to do a deep dive into that, see what that all entails, and we're just gonna dive deep and see if that might be another potential opportunity, because we're going to try to dig through all these different tech roles to find out which one that you'll be interested in, because so many people, I want to go into tech, I want to go into tech, I want to go into tech, right? But there are so many jobs, so many positions that saying that I want to go into tech, just like saying I want to go into cybersecurity, it is, it means nothing. It doesn't say much, right? So that's why I'm telling you, we gotta dive deep. We have to go look up some of these jobs, and then we can have a better understanding of what we're getting ourselves into. Is this for us, right? And so when we do our job search during our breaks today, maybe we'll look up for site reliability engineer, as well as identity and access management engineer, and then we'll start putting out that information, getting a better feel for it to see, is this really for us? Okay, so that is Wednesdays, and Fridays we have the bug bite. We had a crazy story this past Wednesday, or this past Friday, with good old Hunter Biden and good old Rudy Giuliani, and them going at it and suing each other for millions of dollars, and that's going to be interesting. That was interesting. This week we're going back to a little more of our regularly scheduled program. We're going to be talking about Samsung and their data breach issues, and we'll look into that a little bit deeper. Right. So that is the plan. All right. So let's keep going. So actually, one more time, real quick. Mondays, candid conversations. Wednesdays, software explorations, concepts and overviews. Fridays, the bug bite. And then throughout the week, I drop a clip from the Q&A show to make it, very bite-sized, digestible piece. Because sometimes you just can't sit through a whole 2 to 3 hour live stream, and you just want to have a very specific question, and I'm just trying to answer that for you, right? So hopefully that adds tons and tons of value to you. And if the information that I just shared sounds helpful and informative and interesting and entertaining, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every single time I drop new content, every time I go live. Like the video, share it with everybody, because trust me, you might not know who this will help, but learning about these different job prospects, you never know who wants to shift careers. So go ahead and share it, and let them decide for themselves what they want to do. Okay. So, and lastly, go ahead and check out the Patreon. Tons of information in there. I'm about to post a message in there to see, okay, what are you guys into? What do you guys want to know? How can I help you? And that way I can get some feedback from my Patreon members, and then I will continue to deliver, trying to give them everything that they need. All right. So shout out to all of that. And we are about to get started with the show. So let's do it like this.
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
Let's get some energy to get the show on the road. All right. So today we are going to, like I said, we're going to be working on Terraform, and we're going to be setting up virtual private networks with AWS. If you're not familiar with that, we'll do a quick look up on what that is and how it's used, its purpose. And then I'm going to log into AWS. I'm going to show around where it is inside of AWS. And then we're going to get into, maybe we'll create it manually, and then we'll get into creating it with Terraform and all that, right? So we'll figure it out as we go along, So let's go. Let's do this. Let's see. Go here and go. Let's see how do I do this. do that. And I'm just getting set up real quick. AWS. And let me open my PyCharm as well, because we're definitely going to need that. And tomorrow morning in our Coffee and Kata, we are going to continue with the rock, paper, scissors challenge. So if you're not familiar with that, that is a challenge from Chaos Camp that Don created, where we have to automate testing the rock, paper, scissors game. Last week on our first day of trying it out, we found a little bug and we reported it, and Don got it fixed. And on Wednesday, we went ahead and we validated that the bug was resolved. And so you got to see how I did a defect, how I reported a defect, how I validated that it was working once the developer said it was resolved, and we closed it out. We did that all through GitHub, but in a traditional environment, you might be doing it through Jira, but it's possible you like if your company uses GitHub, that can happen too. So that's so just saying that so much stuff is happening, right? So much stuff is happening. So I'm logging into AWS right now, as well as opening up PyCharm. And then we will get the show on the road. That. Open up our Authenticator app for two-factor authentication. And the thing I like about the Authenticator app is like every 60 seconds, the code that you need to input changes. So it is it's not the simplest thing to hack into this type of stuff, but you also don't want to be sharing your, keys, so let me see. It's not that you're intentionally sharing them, but just like show them on a live stream and then you have to go and change them and all that stuff, so all right, let's open the other one as well. All right, we are gold. All right, so what we're gonna do, we are going to have a little recap of what we did the previous week, and then we will get to work and start setting this stuff up, right? So let's do it like this. We are gonna go to first, we're gonna pull up our clock, and we are going to put a 20-minute countdown.
It's time to do.
Right, and we are gonna go to our shared screen. So last week, what we did was let's put a timer up here as well. All right, so we have our timer running. All right, so last week, what we did was we set up a instance where we pretty much what we did the past few weeks, where we set up the instance, we ran the script to set up our EC2 instance with Docker, and it had Docker and it had Selenium. So it starts up the Selenium grid, right? So we still ran that script. We unintentionally ran the at first the rock paper scissors challenge script, which I will intentionally run today. But also what we worked on was doing the outputs and doing the local execs where we output to like a file, right? So it would output to this private IPs where it would give you the internal IP address of the AWS instance that was provisioned, and then it can also give you the external IP, right? The public IP of the AWS instance that was provisioned, right? With that being said, I had the crazy thought of, hey, how could I set up 4 instances at the same time, right? So we did some research and we found out we have to add the count. We weren't able to get this to work at the time, which I'll table that for another time. But I know the concept of how I would write it, right? I would say loop it 4 times where you're adding it to this file. but I'm not familiar enough with this logic to be able to write that. So I'll look into that another time. That's not the important part, right? But what I do want to do is I want to actually run this over again, but using the rock paper scissors script, right? And another thing that would be pretty cool is if I was to set this as a variable, right? And I could just call that variable instead of having to change it in all these spots. See how I come up with these crazy ideas, but how do we do that though? So we have to go back to some of our earlier times working on this, right? So let's go to check the main, right? So variable set and then type set number default 1 2 3 4 5. And if we go to we want to use it, so so let's try this, right? Let's try so variable type string and then the default, right? So if we go into here, I mean, there's probably a better place to put it, probably in the var, but I don't want to open the var file because of, it has very private information in there. So let's do this real quick, right? So let's do, I think we're doing variable script to run. Actually, no, we need to have variable script to run. And then we do like that. And we're going to say type is a string. And we're going to say default equals default equals that, right? And I don't know if I can change it, but all right, so we have that. So now if I say, how do I call it though? So if I say this is here, and okay, so it's var dot. I'm totally winging this right now because I just had this crazy idea that if I was to just go like, ooh, let's see if we do var dot. That work? We go here. Oh, that works. So we can take this, right? There. And here. And here. And here. Hopefully this, I mean, there might be a better way to do this, but at least I don't have to go and update this in like a million different spots now, right? Let's see if, are we calling it from any other places? I think that's it, right? So now all I have to do is go up here and I can change it back and forth between whatever script that I have in here, right? So that is going to save us a lot of time. And this is all about being efficient, right? All about being efficient. So let's go and do, we're going to run it twice. We're going to run it, and I'm only going to do 2 on 2 servers this time, right? We're going to run it twice. We're going to first run it with this one, and then we're going to change it where we're going to use this one, and we don't want to change anything else. And I'll just name this TCR Terraform, right? And let's see. And it'll output the addresses, and we should be able to access it that way. So part of the plan, right? Here's what we're going to do. After we create our VPCs, then we're going to take this setup, right? And we're going to make it run on those particular VPCs. We're not going to only, because right now when we set this up, it's using our default VPCs, right? So part of the plan is we are going to have it run on the new VPCs that we're creating. We'll figure it out as we go along, right? So that being said, let's kick this baby off. And let's go. So we're gonna do let's do a Terraform plan first. Let's see what's gonna happen. And the IPs are gonna change. And the key that it's using, VPC tag. So we're gonna be using TCR plan as a tag, which is gonna be the name. Instant type T2 micro. And this is the AMI that it's going to be doing it on. And that's okay. So we're doing 2 servers or 2 instances. Create. Okay. So let's give it a run and see what happens. Terraform apply. And do we need anything else? It's going to output. All right, cool. Let's do that. So let's see if that works with our variable for the script. So we don't have to do it for, changing it on a bunch of spots, right? And this is like totally on the fly that I just came up with this. I'm like, oh, why am I hate typing the same thing over and over and over again. That is like one of my pet peeves. I hate doing the same thing over and over again, like if it can be automated, right? Like there's some things that I have to do over and over again, right? But for things like this, if it can be automated, then we have to go ahead and automate it. So let me check the message while you're doing that. All right, so that first one is done. And let me refresh the AWS view. So while it's doing its thing, you can see in AWS that instances are being created. So let's go back to this view. And it's doing all its Docker stuff on 2 separate instances, all right? Wait till it's done. Then at the end, it should output us the public IPs, and we're going to use those public IPs to navigate to the Selenium grid. And once that's done, we're going to change the script to do the rock, paper, scissors challenge script, and we're going to look at that. And all I want to do is do a recap, and look how far we got ourselves into. Always going down some rabbit hole. But this is the beauty of it, right? And this is the beauty of software explorations. Let me move myself a little bit. Actually, do this. We are gonna go make this even more visible. We're gonna go to here, and I'm gonna take myself. Did some rearranging yesterday. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna take this, make it a little bit smaller, and there we go. That should be a good view right there. I could probably move myself up just a little bit more. All right, let me know if that works for you. Okay, so our Terraform is done. We have our public IPs, so we're going to copy the first one. And we're going to go over here, and we're going to paste that first one with our 4444. And we have our Selenium grid. Do you guys want to run? So let's do one more, right? Let's do one more. Let's go to the other one. And I'm going to do this. do this. So let's go here. All right, so we're gonna do this. We're going to take that and we're gonna go like this. Move this over here. And then this one, we're gonna move it over here, right? So we have our IPs. Oh, you can't see it. So here. So we have Selenium grid number 1 and Selenium grid number 2, right? What we're gonna do, I'm gonna open up a couple of projects so that way we can throw 2 separate projects into our Selenium grids, right? So let me find some projects. So we have this one. And all right. And I need one more project. Let's see. Let's try to get that from Java. Let's go with this one. So let's do close that down. Okay, cool. So we have okay, perfect. So let me show you this, right? On this screen, we have Java right here and the address to this this is an older address, right? This one doesn't exist anymore. And then here we have, so we're sending it to the same one, right? What we're going to do now, we're going to send it to, each of them are going to go to their own, right? So this one, so one of them is going to go to 54. To here. And the other one is going to go to this one. All right, so we have here. So we have these two, right? So this one is going to 3.92.130.250, and this one is going to 54.84.141.233. So we are going to do a kickoff of each of them, and we're going to look in the other browser to make sure that they are respectfully getting them on the servers. Okay, so let's kick off this one, kick off that one, and we go over here, and we should see something happening over here in just a minute. So we have one right here in the Java one, and we have one right here. So that means if we go to session and we go here, we should be able, password is secret. And we have that, and we go to here. That one is done. We're gonna catch this one in time. Actually, no, that one has a couple of to run actually because it has a data provider. So look at that. So we have two Selenium web drivers running that we set up through Terraform, and we're sending it on our scripts to two different IP addresses that we got outputted to us from Terraform, right? So in a way, you could take these IP addresses and like write them to some type of file or something and just say, all right, in this list of IP addresses, when you run these tests, randomly distribute them to the different that, and that's kind of like how, I guess that's how kind of like how the agents are set up on like Jenkins, TeamCity, and things like that, who runs the jobs. But we just kind of distributed the like we manually distributed it, but we could have added it to some type of list. And then which, you know what, part of the thing that we might be looking into today would touch on that, of how we could use these not what is the name of that one? It is, I'll find it. But oh, it's in here. It is how we could use the data sources, right? So like we could output these IP addresses to like a list, and then we can say in our script, like, this is the list of IP addresses that you're going to choose from. And we do a function of random, like choose between 0 and the amount of IPs in the list, and then use that IP address to kick off to your Selenium grid, right? Something to that extent. So anyways, let's go back over here. So you see this. And yeah, I mean, this thing's getting stuck, but that is pretty cool. I just had that idea, and we did it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop running that script over here. Who knows why that's getting stuck? And here we are. So now I'm going to go back into Terraform, and I'm going to shut it down. And what's the command to shut it down? To stop it? Terraform destroy, and adios. You are getting destroyed. And we're going to say yes. And if we look over here, they are getting killed. Like, this probably can't even be accessed anymore. And this is in the process of shutting down. If we look at this, no more instances, they're getting destroyed. All right, and over here, destruction is complete.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
And we are at time. All right, so when we return, what we're going to do is we are going to just update that script to do the rock paper scissors script instead. So we're going to just do it from the variable spot, and yeah, and we're gonna do that, right? So, and then once we're done with that, then we're gonna get into figuring out what exactly is a VPC, its purpose, how it works, and then we're going to look at it inside of AWS to like manually set one up, and then we're going to go back into Terraform, and then we're going to do it that way, right? And what I'm thinking about now is, because there are some stuff that I didn't cover, but I think along the way of setting it up, we can find use for them, and then I can introduce them and show them. Like, I learned them, but not the best with them. But I think as I'm putting some things in action, it'll make more sense, and we'll go from there. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to put a 5-minute up on the clock. I'm going to be back in just a minute, and we're going to look at some stuff on LinkedIn, some jobs. And I don't know why that's taking forever to finish destroying, but let's do okay. And where's the 5 minutes? 5 minutes up, and I will be right back. All right, so I am back, and let's look at some of these site reliability engineer jobs so we can have an idea of how much they make, and we'll start looking a little bit into what they do in preparation for our breakdown on Wednesday. All right, so site reliability engineer. This one is at Cisco in Raleigh, North Carolina. Posted 1 day ago. There are 4 applicants. So, and this is an on-site position. So, the successful applicant will be performing in FedRAMP environments and therefore must be a U.S. person, i.e., U.S. citizen, U.S. national, lawful permanent resident, asylee, or refugee. The position may also perform work that the U.S. government has specified can only be performed by a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil. This is an opportunity to work in TDR, threat detection and response security team. So this is a cybersecurity job apparently, right? This one in particular. Our team provides a security center of excellence to new and existing products within our organization. We provide key services within the organization, transformation of security controls into meaningful engineering requirements, reviewing evidence to ensure continuous compliance, development of tooling to automate security relevant tasks, operate shared services which provide functionality to all product teams, and defining creative ways to share knowledge across teams. Right. So what you'll be tasked with: developing and maintaining dynamic infrastructure, building platforms which provide essential services to internal and external customers, designing solutions for scalability and reliability, ensuring compliance within security controls, writing and reviewing system architecture and documentation, crafting useful software to automate compliance activities, contributing to the key services provided by the threat detection and response security team. So, what do they want from you is have a background in development coupled with infrastructure automation experience, detail-oriented individual who enjoys the challenge of multitasking, articulating project requirements, and keeping up to date with changing standards as set by various organizations. And then they have these self-starter that is
Move on,
capable.
back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
So self-starter that is capable of effectively working with various customers, facilitating business discussions, building consensus, establishing priorities, and building credible relationships. Technically skilled individual who can take projects from start to finish. Team member who participates in 24/7, 365 on-call rotation. Yep, and this is a big part of being an SRE. So, what are the qualifications? 4 years of experience in the administration of enterprise-grade AWS infrastructure. We are currently going through AWS right now, right? 4 years of software development experience identifying and analyzing cybersecurity risks, experience using infrastructure as code tools such as Terraform, which we are currently going through, Puppet, Polimi, Ansible, Chef, AWS CloudFormation, or equivalent. Linux system administration experience, and then some nice to have relevant security certificates, proficiency in infrastructure, service, and application monitoring tools, software development experience, familiar with cryptography, experience with Git or other version controls, strong networking skills. All right. So, and this is at Cisco. Most of us should be pretty familiar with Cisco. It was posted yesterday, so pretty cool, right? And then on our next go round, this is which one? How did I get to Cisco? Okay, so this is Cisco. And on our next go round, we'll check out the Blue Century Cloud, and we'll check out this one at TikTok, and then B Cubed. All right, look at that. Look at this. Look at the salary, 166K to 305K. This one is 115 to 195. Right. So, but at the same time, this one is 75 to 100, which is still pretty good. and entry level SRE in Denver, Colorado. This name, I don't know about it. Hire me fast, right? But looking at 64K to 74K, so many different options out there, and we will dig into it a little bit more. All right, so let's get some water. All right, so we are going to put our next 20 minutes up on the clock.
Let's go! Let's go!
And let's take a look at, and let's refresh this page. And our Selenium grid is not going to come up because that AWS resource no longer exists, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to go back over here, and we are going to change this right here. So we know this worked, right? But I want to use this one now. I want to set up the rock, paper, scissors challenge, and I'm going to open this to make sure that we're doing this detached, because last time it was a catastrophe, right? There we go, detached. And now let's go ahead and close that down. Don't need that anymore. And we don't need this one. But when we run this, right, it should do the, it should set up the rock, paper, scissors challenge in Docker, detached. So when we navigate it to it through Insomnia, we should be able to get something, all right? So, and it should do 2 of them, right? So we can play rock, paper, scissors in 2 different locations, because why would you not want to? Why would you not want to? All right. So let's get to it. And we are going to give it a little run. Well, let's do a Terraform plan first. See what's going to happen. I'm going to create IPs, 2 IPs. Do all of these. All right, so let's give it a run. And we're going to have to say yes. All right, so it's doing its thing. So if we swap back over here and we refresh that, so our instances are created, and now it's going to do its it's going to go through that script, right? So now it should be a lot faster because it's not going to be doing all of that installing a Docker and stuff like that. Well, actually, it's a good question. Let me see something. Okay, so what I did was, so we still have to install Docker on the EC2 instance, but I modified it like to go to Git and then clone the repo and go into it and do that, right? So right now it's installing everything that is required as part of the requirements.txt file. Oh my God, look at what's going on, Damien? Happy to have you here. All right, so over here, we have our IPs outputted. So I'm going to copy this one. And we're going to go here. And the port that we're going to be running on is 8080 for this one. And so I keep forgetting. So we need Insomnia. let's open up Insomnia, and we're gonna just copy this IP into Insomnia. So API play. So if we send the choice of rock, and we have a draw with the computer, so that means that the bug was fixed, you know. But now I'm going to take the other IP, and we go here and we put our colon, and if we do send rock again, we win. Look at that, we win. Let's go with this one then. It is what it is. All right, cool. So that was able to work. We'll do that later. So on 2 separate EC2 instances, we got up and running the rock paper scissors challenge. We got up and running the Selenium grid. So very, very cool. You know, very cool. And in here, we could have a like an instance one for setting up. We can have one for setting up Selenium grid. You can have one for setting up something else, some API thing, right? It's so many different possibilities that you can do. But you know, just thought about these 2 quick examples and wanted to see, okay, can I do this little variable here, right? Because all I had to do was change this, and we were in the building. We were able to go, right? So shout out to that. And we are going to be moving on to the VPCs, right? So what do we do at this point? We are going to shut it down. We're going to do Terraform, destroy, and we go boom. And we're going to say, yes, shut it down. And let me go ahead and close out Insomnia. And if we go over here, we do, let's see if it's killed yet. All right, so our instances are killed, and Terraform is still taking care of the rest. No, because like everything that Terraform did, it has to also destroy it, get rid of it. So there's nothing lingering. All right, so we have 3 resources destroyed. Awesome. So now we are going to get into talking about security groups, right? And I'll do this at the break. All right, so let's talk about security groups. Let me do a Google search. What are security groups, right? So Amazon says a security group controls the traffic that is allowed to reach and leave the resources that it is associated with. For example, after you associate a security group with an EC2 instance, it controls the inbound and outbound traffic for that instance. When you create a VPC, it comes with a default security group. You can create additional security groups for a VPC, each with their own inbound and outbound rules. You can specify the source, port range, and protocol for each inbound rule. You can specify the destination port range, and protocol for each outbound rule. All right. Let's see. Take a quick look at the diagram. So we have a security group here. You have the VPC here. You have the region and the sending and receive of traffic from the end user's computer. Okay. So enough about that. Let's take a look at how these VPCs look in here. So where do we find the VPCs? Let's see. Let's go to security groups. So the security group is different from the actual VPC, right? So let's see. Let's see. If we click on this one right here, it's going to take us to, let's create a VPC. So resource to create VPC only. You can give it a name. You can give it the IPv4 CIDR block. So let's see what CIDR stands for. So CIDR stands for classless inner domain routing. It's an IP address allocation method that improves data routing efficiency on the internet. Every machine, server, and end user device that connects to the internet has a unique number called an IP address associated with it. All right, cool. So with that being said, let's go to here. And let's see. So let's call this test manual live stream VPC. All right. And IP. Yeah. All right. So now we need to give it a block between 6. So let's go with info. Specify. All right. So all right. So let's leave it as that, right? And let's do create VPC. So we got to put something in there. Let me look at theirs. Let's see. Okay, so let's go with let's do that, and let's go to create VPC. So we have our VPC created. So let's do this, right? Before we even do anything else, we're going to use this VPC that we just created manually, and we are going to assign that to, so we're going to start up our EC2 instance. We're just going to reduce it to 1 now. We're going to start up our EC2 instance for the rock, paper, scissors challenge, and we're going to run it on this VPC that we just created. All right, so let's see. I don't need that anymore. Let's see where we do that though. So we have this, we have our VPC ID here, and we have the name of the VPC. So we'll probably end up using the ID, but let's go ahead and let's go over to here, and we're gonna change this count to 1. And let's say we do, VPC security group IDs. So if we do that, and that's a list. So if we go like this, and we go here. I don't know if VPC has to be part of it though. Okay, so let's do it like, oh, come on. Let's copy that and let's put that like that. All right, so if we run that, let's see what happens. Let's see if it creates it on this VPC as opposed to on the default one, right? So we need to do a Terraform plan. And it's going to create one IP. It's going to create one server. Didn't give me an error because usually it would give an error if this was wrong, but no errors in the Terraform plan. So the only thing I'm concerned about is if this is necessary, right? But we'll find out. Let's go ahead and let's run it and see what we get. And yes, we do. We had an error. Okay, so invalid parameter. Value for parameter group ID is invalid. The value cannot be blank. Set group ID. Okay, so maybe we use. All right, so maybe this is wrong then. So let's see. VPC or security group. So let's look at this one, not that one. Let me close this down. I don't need that anymore. Look at this one. Let's see where they put in the VPC for. That's not what I'm looking for. So I'm going to do a quick search then for how do you assign it? Okay. And let's go to over here. All right, let's see what they say here real quick. So we have the VPC created. We have the subnet. So I just want to see how this part looks. We got that. VPC. Oh, so resource. So it's part of the subnet mask. Let's see. Attach an internet gateway to the VPC. Let's see. Let me see. So VPC, WebSD, Web Security Group, ID. So from the instance, you need to get a subnet ID, AWS Security Group, and then Web Security Group. So let's try that real quick, right? Let's see here. Let's see. Let me think. So we would want from here, I go VPC security group. Okay, so all right, well, let's keep looking here then to say if you're here, we have this taken care of, and then we want to
Lunch break! Lunch break!
All right, so let's take a break real quick, and then we will go and look at a little bit more jobs. Then we're gonna return and keep going. All right, so give me a break here. Mm. Let's go to volume. And let's go to break. All right, I'm gonna put 5 minutes on the clock now because I do want to spend some time looking at these positions as well as share something. So 5 minutes up. All right. So here's a question. Why do I go through so many different things during a live stream, right? So I'll be talking about VPCs and I'll have a spur of the moment idea. I'm like, oh, I wonder if we could do this like while we're working on something. And I say, oh, like I wonder if I can do this on 4 instances and then be able to output the IP and all of that type of stuff. Or you know, looking for jobs and analyzing, breaking down different things. And it's like pretty much all the live streams, right? The reason that I do that, other than like, ADHD and stuff like that, ADHD and stuff like that, right? It's because that is the nature of the software development industry, right? You can have a plan for, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to deploy this software, and then some crazy thing happens, and then now you have to shift focus. And so it can be like an hour. You're shifting focus to get this one thing done, and then another thing comes in, and you have to shift focus, and you still have to focus on what you need to do. And you're just like trying to organize it and trying to make sense of it. And that's the reality of the software industry. And that's why like I can be shifting and coming back and looking at things one way and looking at things another way. So many different things are happening. And that's why I take you along for that journey, although it might be on a live stream and I'm, we're exploring software, but at the same time, I have a thought that's like, oh, and I've seen developers do this all the time where they're working on something, they're coding something, and then they just have like, oh, we can make this better by doing this, or I might be working on some automation thing. I'm like, oh, I can make this better by doing this. And they're like, oh, let me go down that rabbit hole, give it a try. See what we come up with. We do what we can. And then we have greatness, right? So I take you along that journey so you can see how the mind works and how these things are happening so that you can follow along, you can appreciate it, all of that good stuff, right? So that's why I shift like that, right? But let's go back to our LinkedIn job search real quick for this last 2.5 minutes of our break. And we are going to go to here, right? So let's take a quick look at this one. Not going to spend too much time on that, but this one is located, this is remote allegedly, right? Over 100 applicants. Hours are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Weekend on call once every 4 weeks. Let's see. So the roles are pretty much, so this is a client support role. A typical day will be managing incidents, solving service requests, and expanding your skill set. So this sounds like a pretty good entry level, right? But let's see once we get to the required qualifications. Jesus Christ. Because a lot of times they'll have like, oh, this is so entry level. And then you get to the requirements and it's like, we need you to have 20 years of experience in a role that's been out since not that long, right? So let's keep looking, right? This when not tending to incidents, you will work to continue to develop and build on your skills. This can mean taking on DevOps tasks for a client, studying for a Kubernetes exam, or acquiring additional AWS certs. We are looking for someone with at least 2 years of incident management experience with an obsession with customer satisfaction. This is a standout opportunity to collaborate with an elite group of engineers, continually build up your skill set, and in turn build a career in the cloud industry. Sounds like a pretty good entry level job, because incident management, that can mean many, many different things. But the part that stood out to me is the with an obsession of customer satisfaction. Reminds me of my good friend Stephanie with the quality obsessed mindset of hers. All right. So let's take a look at the requirements, right? So 2 years of cloud administration experience, 2 years of incident management experience, 1 year of system administration and networking experience, ticketing system experience, Linux, Windows server experience, excellent communication skills, strong multitasker, self-starter, and a team player. And the preferred qualifications, Jira, Confluent, MSP, cloud certifications, security incidents management, Docker, and Kubernetes. All right, so that is that one. And let's take a quick look at this TikTok one before we move on. So this senior site reliability engineer, right, for TikTok ads
Get a move
serving.
on, back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
So this one says, so let's jump down to, okay, what you do. Engage in and improve the reliability, scalability, and release cycle of TikTok ads. Deliver tools, software to improve the reliability and scalability of services. Measure and monitor availability, latency, and overall service health. Practice sustainable incident response and postmortems. Participate in on-call rotation across continents, right? So, what are the qualifications for this position, right? For the senior position as a site reliability engineer, where the pay can range from $166,000 to $305,000, right? Sounds pretty nice, I must say. And this is doesn't say if it's remote or on site, but it was reposted 2 weeks ago, and there are only 14 applicants. Where are all my site reliability engineers at? All right. So if we take a look at the qualifications, bachelor's degree in computer science or a similar technical field of study, or 5 years of practical experience. We love practical experience over here. Expertise in Linux operating systems, networking and or cloud computing, big data and microservices, experience programming in at least one language or script, or at least in one programming language or script language, effective communication skills, and a sense of ownership and drive. All right. So, yeah, that is, and here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. For this position at TikTok, right? Which I don't know how accurate this is, right? Of like only 14 applicants, probably a lot more than that. But for this $166,000 a year to $305,000 a year job, right? It with 5 years of experience, you put yourself in the running, right? I mean, of course, you need to know how to actually do the work, but with 5 years of experience or a bachelor's degree in computer science or a similar field, you put yourself in the running. And you like with this, right? You should be pretty good in Linux and networking and stuff like that. Sounds like a pretty good opportunity to become a senior site reliability engineer for the company TikTok. All right, let's go back over here. Okay, cool. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get back to work, and we are going to try to figure this out manually because I never created a VPC manually. I created security groups manually, right? But we want to create the VPC. And we want to create a subnet, I suppose. And then we want to create a security group assigned to that and assign it to that VPC. So let's do this manually, right? Before we even try to do anything in Terraform, we're going to try to figure that out manually. So let's go here. And let's go to subnets over here. And we have a bunch of subnets, but let's create a subnet. And we're going to call this so we're going to assign it to the VPC here, this test manual live stream. And we're going to create a subnet called test manual live stream subnet. Right? Oh, let's start our timer too, by the way. Jeez. Where's good guy when you need him? For crying out loud.
It's time to do.
Good guy is my official timekeeper. All right, so we got this. We give it a name. We'll let Amazon choose for us for now. And let's go to, I think that's good, right? Let's leave everything else as is. And let's create the subnet. Oh, we need something in here. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll use the same thing. See if that's possible. And that gives you options of 65,000 IP addresses. 24 is 256 IPs. 32 is 1 IP. 28, 16 IPs. I used to be so good at this subnet type stuff when I was in school, but I totally forgot a lot about it. So let's go. Let's just go with 16. That gives us. I go to 24. Let's go with 256. I'm gonna figure this out again though, and we are going to say create subnet. All right. So now we have our subnet created, and now let's go to create our security group. So let's create this new security group, and we're going to call that test. So let's go before we do that, because I always forget the name. So let's go to this one, test manual live. Right, so this is going to be test manual live stream security group. All right, and we need to add an inbound rule. So outbound, it can go everywhere. So for inbound, we need add an inbound. So they recommended the best practice for the inbound rule is to allow access from only from your network, right? So I'm gonna do wasmyip.com. Did I do that? I'm gonna leave it at 0 for now, but they do recommend that you only do your IP, right? So let's do that. But typically you have it your IP. I just don't want to share my IP address for some reason, right? But rules with source, and we're gonna shut this down like really quickly after, so it's all right. It doesn't matter, right? So let's create the security group. Oh, we need to do this one too. Okay, so let's go with that. Not sure why, but it is what it is. Let's go with that. And we have our test security group for new VPC for live stream. All right, so let's give it that, and that's what happens. We give it this creation, and we have a security group, right? So let's see. All right. So now that we have this, if we were to create an EC2 instance, we can assign it to a security group if we're doing it manually, but we want to be able to assign that to a security group, to this security group through our Terraform. So let's find out how to do that. So looking over here, right? So this is from the course, right? This is from the course. It's not the one that I want. I want to look at this VPC, right? We have creating a VPC, creating a subnet, a bunch of subnets. Let's see. AWS gateway. I just want to see. Let me see. Maybe it's an instance. Maybe let's take a look at instance, right? So, oh wait, that's not the right instance I'm looking at. Oh, they don't have instance in theirs. So you have the provider, security group. IP ranges, bars. Oh. AWS security group. Let's see. So let's go back, and we're gonna just have to figure that we're gonna do it ourselves, right? Because like I said, sometimes these courses, the way that they patch the data together, it gets a bit confusing. So this one doesn't use it. So provider, security group. I just want to assign my EC2 instance to a particular security group. Right? Take a look at these over here real quick. But if they're not in there, we're just gonna figure it out ourselves. We're gonna put it together ourselves. The courage to go at it alone, you know? So all right, we're gonna figure it out ourselves, right? So we're gonna go to how to assign security group to EC2 instance, right? And we want, how do I assign a security group to it? All right, so let's take a look at this one, right? To change, and okay, so to change and so this is telling you how to do it through the, but I want to do it through, I want to do it here, right? In Terraform. So resource, AWS, instance, web, AMI. Okay, we got that. Use the VPC security group IDs. Oh, is that it? See, this is creating the security group, which we don't need to create the security group because we already have it. But this is pretty much what we'll do. This is what pretty much what we're gonna do when we do it all through EC2. So let's do, or through Terraform. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go over to here and we're gonna copy the security group ID, or not this one, but the one that we were, where's the one we just created? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's take that right there and let's go to over here and we're gonna put it in here. Let's see what happens if we do this, right? And we do Terraform plan. I like to do the plan first to see like what it's planning on doing. And then we can see, so security group, okay. All right, let's give it a run, see what happens, right? Let's see if it's able to find the security group that we created manually. Yes. Did I not? Forgot to press enter. Forgot to press enter. All right, line 11. There is an issue. Line 11. Creating EC2 invalid security group and subnet belong to a different network. Okay, so there's a network thing. So I guess we also have to create a network then. All right, so let's go ahead and create our network. Why don't we? Why don't we? Right? Let's do it. Let's do it. Sometimes I feel like when we have to go through all of these obstacles, it just makes me feel like this.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
You know? It's like the price of the brick is going up. Every time we got to figure out these new things and we got to tinker. I'll tell you this, right? as Stephen A will say, put me on the big screen for this, right? The more that you learn, the more you figure out these things, the more you make, like, the more you can charge, right? And then you can figure out ways to do this as consulting. You can do this. I'll give you an example, right? I could do what I do at my regular job, with no problem. But then I could also, like, if I learn this stuff really, really well, I can contract to do this stuff for, quick little setups and stuff like that. Have scripts that are written and then deploy those scripts where I just, change the variables around. Boom, you get your setup and everything like that. There's so many things that you can do with this knowledge, right? And I urge you to gain the knowledge, right? And apply it, and always thinking about ways of how can I put to use the things that I'm learning? How can I put to use the things that I'm learning? That's the most important part of it, right? So let's get back. Sometimes you just gotta jump in there, give a quick little nugget, So we need to figure out this network thing. So security groups. Let me see. Let's see. So let's go back real quick. Okay, VPC console. All right, so we're here. So the error was it belongs to different networks. So let's find out what the network. So how do you? All right, so let's take a look at this. Network interface ID resource. It is creating creating the security group. Network interface SG attachment. So let's take a look at the security group then, right? Let's go to, let's say we look at this. And we go to here. And let's look at this. Okay, so default VPC, no, okay, because we set it to a different VPC. So if we edit, or if we go to the VPC actually, and so let's say we look at these main, okay, so main network. So if I put this VPC on this network, right, we're going to do this. We're going to try putting that VPC on that network. Let's see. Let's see. That's where I was before. So if because we want we want, is that right? Oh, let me see something. I want it to be on this network, right? So if we go here, we check that box. Manage tags, manage middle. Let's see what this is. No, that's not it. Let's see, we click that. And edit this. Let's close that. I want all right, so let's try main network. Let's try this. So, okay, cool. So we have so it's on different networks. So let's look for Terraform specify network. All right, so assign how to create a. Not that I want to create it, but okay. So let's see. So this is for Azure. Let's see if we can find it for AWS. Actually, it's not doing it in Terraform. Let's say assign security. Let's see. Let's figure this out. We are going to figure this out. So security group. So we're here. Okay. So you have the security group. All right, so that's one quick thing we can do. We can make use of the autocomplete stuff. So let's say we do network interface. That's not it. So let's see. So it finds a security group and subnet belong to. All right, hold up. Wait a minute. So let me go to here. So subnet 6426C803 belong to different networks. Oh, okay. So it's using this subnet, but it's trying to use this. Where's the security group? Where is the security group? Okay, so it's trying to use. Let me see. It's trying to use a security group that is not within that subnet, I suppose. So we go to security groups. All right, so let's look at this, right? So this security group here is the one that we're using here. And if we were to, and that other subnet is not inside of this VPC.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
So before we go on break, let's try. So we click here. We're going to have a subnet that is. All right, so let me try this, right? We are going to do the subnet that is within. So let's say we do subnet ID, and we're going to specify, because somehow there's a subnet that's being specified as something else, right? So we're going to go to subnets, and we're going to specify the subnet that is inside of that VPC. Go with that. All right, so let's let's try to run it real quick, and then we will go to our break. All right, so let's see what happens. And let's do it. Yes. Oh. So what I did was I put the subnet ID and the subnet that I copied in here, and I did Terraform apply, and I just did a yes, and we're gonna see what happens. See if we get another error, because we're trying to get is the thing with subnets and stuff like that. Oh, it looks like it's working. I don't know. Let's see. But the thing with subnets and stuff, right? And the security groups, like it's a security mechanism, right? To make sure that the subnet is in the same network as the security group, and those are in the same network as the VPC and all of that. And that's what we ended up getting. So it's running right now. And we're going to take a look at it, make sure that the rock paper scissors challenge gets spun up and we can access it. And then when we go to break, when we come back, we're going to try to automate what we just did manually, right? So we're going to do creating the VPC, creating the subnet, creating the security group, and I think we're gonna have to create the network as well. So 4 things we're gonna have to do. And then we will see if we'll see how far we can get with that, right? So it'll be interesting. It will definitely be interesting, right? So while that is running, let's go over here. So I hope you're having a good time. It's so many different moving pieces that we're doing, and just trying to keep up with it, making sure that things are on the up and up. It's a lot. Trust me. And this Terraform stuff, a lot of it is part of the of an SRE, a site reliability engineer, infrastructure as code. I'm having tons of fun doing this, but if you're new to it, you have to practice, you have to put in the work, because it can be quite overwhelming, and you need to make sure you understand it. I'll give you a quick example, right? When the other night when I was doing the cybersecurity hacker 101 stuff, right? It was a lot, and they said it was easy, but it was for me, who's used to searching and figuring things out and stuff like that, it was complicated for me. And they said it was easy, it was novice, whatever, or what's the word that they used? I forgot the word that they used. Trivial, right? So the first time it was trivial, and I'm like, oh man, this I ended up finding it, but it was a bit complicated, right? And then the second one, we only found 2 out of the 4 so far. So there's 2 more to go. And that was quite challenging. So with that being said, for someone who's been doing this type of work for so long, and to, hit that roadblock when I went into it, I can only imagine the challenges that people who are transitioning to IT, to QA, to software engineering from another field that has nothing to do with tech, right? It can be scary. It can be daunting. It can be so many things, right? And I have a better appreciation for the challenges that you're going through, because for me, when I come into something, especially in tech, I can just, ramp up my knowledge based on my prior knowledge. But if you have absolutely no knowledge at all, that's going to be quite challenging, right? So, but you know what that means to me? It doesn't mean that you go even slower. It means you go even harder, and you go even faster, and you're like, all right, I got to do this. I got to figure this out, because of what I want to achieve for my goals. There is no other options. I have to put in the work. And the best thing that you can do, right? The best thing you can do is get a mentor, get a coach, a tech coach, right? Who will help you and give you advice and guide you and speak to you on a regular basis, where that they can make sure that you're going on the right path, and they can help field your questions, because they have that knowledge, right? Or make sure they do have the knowledge, right? And that way that they can help you and guide you and structure what you're learning, and they can keep you encouraged, right? But at the same time, you have to use those resources, because if you have the opportunity to speak to someone in the industry that you're in, and they're even willing to coach you and mentor you, you have to take advantage. You cannot sit on the opportunity, because a lot of times it might be a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So make the most of it. Don't procrastinate. Don't lollygag around. Don't waste their time, right? Like I said in the video the other day, respect your time and don't let anyone else respect your time. Respect your calendar and don't let anyone else disrespect your calendar. use your resources to the full of your ability. All right. So definitely check that out. Like, and I'll give I'll give a shout out to my friend in the chat, Damien, right? Because we are talking about gaming development and gaming testing, and Don was in the chat that time too, and he emailed me like the next day. He's like, "Oh, how can I like? What is it that you were mentioning for me to get into like gaming development and stuff like that?" And I emailed him like, "Hey, check out this course, right? And go for it. Just don't hesitate. Just go for it, right?" So that's what like you need to use these to the best of your ability. All right. So all right. So let's go on break real quick. And I'll let you know now that the setting up the instance failed for some reason, right? Let's go. Let me just take a quick look at this. The instance got set up, but it was not able to provision the file for some reason. Wonder why. Dial TCP 10. It looks like it might be something to do with the settings of like allocating the IPs, but whatever. We are on break right now. So let's go back and let's continue looking at our site reliability engineering roles. And then we will come back to finish up with Terraform for our last segment of the day. But we did a lot, right? But I do want to get to actually using the Terraform to set up the security groups, because we were able to do it with the like manually created security group and manually created subnet. But we oops. All right, so let's take a look at our. So let's take a look at this one, platform engineer with security clearance, right? So $115,000 to $195,000 per year. All right. So this is a job that is located in Tampa, Florida, and it's hybrid, allegedly, and there's over 100 applicants. Right. I don't know if that many people with this type of experience actually live in Tampa, but we shall find out, shall we? So as a platform engineer at B Cubed Engineering, you will play a critical role in the architecting, deploying, and managing our Kubernetes-based infrastructure across a variety of environments, ranging from edge sensor to enterprise clouds. We'll work closely with cross-functional teams to deploy. All right, so we already know pretty much all of that. And we'll get into a lot more details on Wednesday's video, where we break down the site reliability engineer role, just like we did for the IAM engineer role, right? But let's see. Bachelor's degree in computer science, information technology, or a field or related field or equivalent experience, proven experience in designing, deploying, and managing Kubernetes clusters in production environment. I really, really want to get back into that Kubernetes course. I just couldn't at the time because my computer was so bad at the time, but we are in much better shape nowadays. Strong knowledge of containerization technologies using tools such as Docker and container orchestration with Kubernetes. So if you haven't checked out the Docker series that I did like 2 weeks ago for the past, and it was a 3-week long series, I would say go ahead and check that out, right? And learn a little bit about Docker, proficiency in scripting and automation using tools such as Bash, Python, or Ansible, familiarity with CI/CD pipelines and tools, excellent communication, ability to understand and translate tenant application requirements into Kubernetes configuration, and you need an active security clearance. So you're telling me that there are over 100 people in the Tampa area who are platform engineers who have an active security clearance? That is quite hard for me to believe, I must say. maybe my good friend China would know better than me, but that is hard for me to believe that that many people in the Tampa Bay area who are site reliability engineers or platform engineers have an active security clearance. I'm gonna check with her and I will report back next time. Okay. Let's see. Highly desired Kubernetes certification, experience with Kubernetes ecosystem tools. Okay, like those. Knowledge of infrastructure as code tools like Terraform and Ansible, which we are definitely going to be getting to Ansible as soon as we are done with Terraform. And all right, U.S. citizenship required. All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that was pretty cool. And we'll check out this entry level one before we wrap up today, right? So, we are
Get a move on. Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on. Get a move on.
ready to get back to
work. Back
work.
to work. Back to work.
All right. So, with that being said, so the error that we got was timeout dial TCP. All right, so let's find out what this means, right? Because I have a feeling that we're just patching stuff together, and our probably something with the IP address range that we specified messed up, right? So let's go here and let's go here and let's go here. Let's see. So this is a different let me see. So that's not gonna help. Let's see. Let's go with Terraform and here. Let's see. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go and edit this to be because it goes VPC subnet security group. So let's properly modify this, right? So right now let's go to your VPCs, and this is 16. So 16, it gave us like 38,000, right? So now let's go to subnet, and let's edit the subnet to, let's see. Let me see here. Oh, I started time, by the way.
Let's go! Let's go!
Let me see. Actions. Edit this. Let's see here. Let's see. I think I want to change this. I don't know if I can though. Let's see. Might have to start it over. Let's see. What's this routing table? So this is 10 and 24. Let's look at our VPCs, make sure. So this 10 and 16. And then if we look at our security groups, no, it doesn't specify anything. So with that being said, let's go over here. Let's see. Edit the routing table. I'm just like freestyling it over here right now because I'm just. Edit routes. So. I don't know how this got created. I wrote this down like because I want to modify. I don't want this to be like that. The available IPs, which that should be enough. I wonder if there's any logs. Okay. Actually, hold on. Let's go to the security group. And so inbound traffic, takes all traffic. Or 16. Oh, wait a second. Let's try that. Nope. Let's see. I don't know. Just trying something out here. But I don't. Let's see. Not very familiar with security. All right, so let's try another. Let's look at here. We have a network associated with this VPC, which is associated with this subnet mask. 2 inbound rules, 2 outbound rules. Oh, let's see here. Test manual Livestream. Let's see here. Security groups. Subnets. Security groups again. Okay. Okay. Let's do. All right. So I know I got this far. Okay, let's go to. All right. Thinking. So let's go with this route. So let's see what we can do with Terraform then, because I have the documentation for Terraform, but I'm not too familiar with the AWS. It's probably something very simple that I'm missing, right? Because there's 2 inbound rules and 2. So what are the rules, right? So for the network ACL, inbound rules, rule number 100. Oh, look at that. So it's denying what it's bringing in. So let's edit that real quick, right? And deny all traffic. Inbound rules. Why is it like that? Let me see something. The network does not allow traffic to come in. That is so weird. So let's do a quick Google search then. AWS network doesn't allow traffic in. Outbound rule is also denying. Weird. So let's see. Remote state. All right. So so let's try this. We're gonna create a new network. All right. Terraform Livestream network. All right, and we're gonna select the VPC of this one, and we're gonna create the network. And I'm gonna do see this? You see that? All right. Why is it? Let's see. So let's look at this. We're gonna say search for AWS network ACL deny all control. Let's take a quick look at this. Network ACL access control list allows or denies specific inbound at the subnet level. You can use the default network. So through the subnet, we should be able to allow or not allow. So let's take a look at the subnet then. So security group subnets. And we have it for the VPC, we have the subnet. So look at our security groups. It's supposed to allow traffic to come in. All right, anyways, let's move on for a second. All right, so what we're gonna do, we are going to comment these out. So this one, I'm gonna comment this out. We know that something was working with it, right? But what we're gonna do, we are going to create our resource for our security group, right? So we go here and we look at security group. So we're gonna need I'm gonna make this smaller here. We're gonna go side-by-side comparison so we can get a better understanding of it, right? So let's create a folder called instance or security group, or a file called security group. File security group. Yeah, I can add that. And we're going to say data, AWS, IP ranges, and we're going to name that US EC2. And we open that bracket, it's going to say regions, and we're going to say US East 1. And we're going to say services for EC2. All right. Now we're going to say resource, and we're going to say AWS security group. And we're going to call that from United States. All right, and then we're going to give it a name of from United States. Okay. And we're going to do, not too familiar with the CIDR block yet, but we'll figure it out as we go along. So we're going to do, this is still part of resources. Ingress, and we're going to say from port to port. And the protocol is TCP. You know what? Looking at this arrow over here, that might be something that was missing, right? So I don't know, but I'm not too sure how to do that through the web view, you know. But let's keep going, right? So, and then we need a CIDR block. It's weird. It says. So, slice, and we're going to do data.aws IP ranges dot US EC2, and then see our blocks. And we're going to go with 0. And let's go with, what do we want to go with here? Let's stick with what they have, right? And then we'll figure out this a little bit better next time. Let me close that. All right. So here, now we're going to do tags. So create date equals data dot AWS IP ranges US East, and create date, and sync token equals data AWS IP ranges US East 2 dot sync token. All right, so we got that. And that is it for this file. So let's go and look at this file again. And let's go here. So now we have that. We have that. I don't see the security group created though. So, or let me see. So this is a security group. Let's see here. That's done. So let's see. Default VPC. So this is the one that this is the one we're looking for. Why am I doing security group? Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So, well, we can leave the security group though. Let's see. So let's do this one. I'm just gonna, yeah, whatever. Let's do create another file. Because if we just don't reference it, then it's not gonna get called, right? So let's go to new, and that's gonna be called VPC TCR VPC. All right, so we're gonna start with resource AWS default. And we're gonna call that. Why is it default VPC? What if I don't want it to be default? These were. Let me just see if I do. Let's do that. And let's call it TCR Terraform VPC. All right, and we're gonna say tags is name. What is this thing called? So this is gonna be called TCR Terraform VPC. All right, and then we're gonna go to. So this is done over here. We're gonna go here. And we're gonna say resource and AWS subnet. And we're going to call that TCR Terraform VPC. And we have, all right, so that's good so far. So this is taken care of. VPC ID and availability zone is var.aws region. And throw A on the back of that. Okay. And then tags. And the tag is the name that's going to show. So name equals subnet or
Lunch break! Lunch break!
var.aws region. And then we are going to, there are no more breaks for today. So we're going to wrap this one up. So we're here and now we are doing, so we got this. We don't need to create a bunch of subnets. So we're here. So we have this and now we want to do, it's going to create a VPC. And if we go and we click open this, let's see here. So the question is, how do you get this? Same question as last time, right? How do I get this here? So we want to the top. So if we have this one, so this should be Terraform. Oh, this should be subnet actually. I think this is Terraform VPC. It should be Terraform subnet. So now if we do inside of here, if we were to do, let's close that out. If we were to do against that. So if we were to do uncomment this out and we say we say so we might have a little bit of research to do. Because we have this. AWS keep. Let's see. Okay, hold on. AWS subnet. So let's try AWS subnet. Terraform subnet dot. Let's see. Let's try that. What happens here? Oh, close quote. Okay, cool. What is this error? What does that mean? Convert to. Okay, cool. So, all right, let's do that. And the VPC security group ID. Let's see. So we do so let's uncomment that out. AWS security group dot from United States dot ID. And let me see. So this is going to create the security group or the VPC. Do this. The only thing I'm unsure about is what happens. Because I didn't see it. Let me see. Let's take a look at this one real quick. So it didn't create the network and stuff like that. And we go to, well, let's give it a run. And if it doesn't work, then we'll pick up on this part next week. But we got this far, and then we can do some more research on how to also do this manually. Because I don't like doing this through Terraform without understanding how to do it manually, which I think that can be problematic, right? But whatever, we're learning. We are here to learn. So let's give it a run before we wrap up. So let me do a Terraform destroy real quick. Close down whatever's running. What? Invalid function. Invalid value for index. Index must not be greater than the length of the list. Index minus not. All right, whatever. I'm gonna go with let's go with 23. I don't know. There's definitely stuff that we need to get more into because this stuff is a bit complicated. So let's go with 16 now. Just want to do a Terraform destroy, that's all. Okay. Let's do this. Let's comment this stuff out for now. And let's do a Terraform destroy. Okay, cool. We're destroying. What the heck? So let's go and disable this stuff too. Hopefully, I just want to destroy, you know? All right, cool. Let's destroy that. All right, so let's see what's going on here. So Terraform is shutting down those instances. Still having trouble figuring out. So we're gonna have to do some more investigation on this to see why. So these are distorted, to see what is it that we're doing wrong. Like I said, like these documentations make it super confusing sometimes to figure this stuff out. But all right. Well, I think we're gonna leave it at that for this week, right? Because so much things to do, and we have to get a better grasp of this security group thing. Maybe I'll do a presentation on it after I get a better understanding of it to have a better idea of how to set that up. Because we know we need to do something with the network. We know we need to do so. It's like network, VPC, subnet, security group, right? So we just have to figure that part out. But we definitely will. We do not quit. All right. So that's that. We did a lot, and being able to see the rock, paper, scissors challenge come up. And so our goal still is, we have not accomplished it yet, right? We have not gotten it yet, but we will. Our goal is to set up the VPC, right? And have the subnet working, have the security group working, have the network access control list working. And then that same script that we did, it is going to be sent towards that security group, towards the and that VPC, and it's going to be separate from the ones that we generally do by default, because we have a bunch of them in there. And we're just trying to figure out different things. We're just trying to get a better understanding so that we can be more effective in everything that we do, right? Because why is that? Because
I mean, all we do is win, man. You know that.
Yes, we do. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna wrap it up, right? So if you had a good time, we didn't meet our goal yet, but we will. We definitely will. Probably most likely next week we'll meet that goal, and we're gonna keep going through AWS. And because honestly, this might be like one of the most important parts of the course, right? Let me just take a quick look at the course real quick. This section of the course is about 2 hours long just by watching the videos, but there's tons more to do. And so we're going to be covering, so today we're doing the, this might be right. But, so today we're working on launching instances in a VPC. So we're still working on that. Going to look a little bit more deeper into the code to see what's going on. And then we're going to be working on EBS volumes. So this is like the storage. I'm thinking about user data, and then we're going to work on static IPs, EIPs, and Route 53. This is all going to be happening through Terraform. We're going to try setting up a Route 53 with Terraform. There's going to be RDS, and then we're going to get into the IAM, the access and the identity and access management, how to do that through Terraform. Auto scaling, what that looks like, and then we're going to be looking into elastic load balancers as well. So many things that we're going to be looking to. It goes on and on, right? So this is going to be like one of the most crucial parts of the site, of the course. And then there's advanced Terraform usage, Packer, Docker on AWS and stuff like that. But we're making very, very good progress, and we're just going to keep going through it. We are just going to keep going through it. All right. So hope you had a good time.
Are you not entertained? Are you not?
I am always entertained by doing this work, and I hope you are as well. But with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live, every time we drop new content. Like went live last night working on WordPress. They didn't do too much about it, but got a good chunk done. Emailed my friend to ask for the information that we need. So once we get that information, we will pick it back up. Hopefully it can be sometime this week. One more time, the schedule for this week. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be going live with our coffee and kata in the morning. Then we have our candid conversation releasing at noon. Then on Tuesday, we are live at 7:15 p.m. doing Q&A. Wednesday, back to coffee and kata in the morning. And Thursday night, well, I have to figure out what we're doing for Thursday, right? It might be in the morning time because it is Thanksgiving. So if you're here now and I don't talk to you before then, which I should be, right? But happy Thanksgiving. But I'm figuring out what we do on Thursday. We'll figure something out because something is definitely going to happen on Thursday, right? We'll figure it out, and then, that's the schedule for the week. Hope to see you throughout the week. And, hopefully I can add more and more value into your life. But with that being said, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, check out the Patreon. And on that note, I am Tech Coach Ralph, and I am out of here.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Hear me, warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bowed before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination. These are the very essence of our people. Let's believe our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the price we paid, the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. Having celebrated this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles upon us forth. Let the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, let them tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow, we set our sights on new horizons. Uncharted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.